When Lincoln Riley took over Oklahoma, he turned them into one of the most explosive offenses college football has ever seen. With quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, the Sooners ripped through the Big 12, winning conference titles, producing Heisman winners, and piling up points with a blend of air raid passing and power-driven run game creativity. Today, we're taking that exact Oklahoma air raid offense and building it inside of College Football 26. Now, let's start off with one of the true air raid concepts, and that is mesh, and we're going to be running it out of pistol bunch. Mesh has been a staple of every great air raid system, and this version gives us a clean triangle read in the middle of the field while also giving us options to attack the sideline. Now, to set this up, come out with your bunch to the short side of the field, then take your outside receiver on the bunch side and put him on a streak, then take your running back and put him on a wheel route. Now, we always want to start in the middle of the field with our triangle read. Against zone coverage, these drags will sit down in the soft spots, and if the linebackers stay back, we can throw either drag underneath. Then if the linebackers jump down on the slants, then we have this running back vertical route coming out of the backfield, and now we can drop it in behind those linebackers' heads for some big pickups, and this just really puts the linebackers and user in a no-win situation in the middle of the field. Then against man coverage, these drags will continue across the field, and we can fire into them as they run away from their defenders. Then we can also attack the sideline with our wheel. Versus zone, the wheel gets in behind the flat defender while the deep blue gets run off by the streak, letting us drop the ball in along the sideline for a big gain. So that's one of 6 plays we are breaking down for this Oklahoma offense. So we're going to go through each one step by step and show you the reads against every coverage and give you the tools to attack man, zone, and pressure. I've got 10 more plays that fit perfectly with this Texas Tech air raid offense live on Scheme Kings. I've got 10 more plays that fit perfectly with this Texas Tech air raid live right now on Scheme Kings. Then remember, this Texas Tech offense isn't a one-off. It's part of a full air raid system in College Football 26, all built out of the Virginia Tech playbook. You can run it alongside my Oklahoma and USC Lincoln Riley offenses and mix all 3 together into one giant scheme. And if you want to check out the full playlist for this offense, I'll link it down below. Under Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma was one of the scariest offenses in the country year after year. From 2017 to 2019, the Sooners made the college football playoff 3 straight times, produced back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners in Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, and consistently finished top 5 in total offense. Riley blended classic air raid passing with motion, RPOs, and a power run game, creating a system that overwhelmed defenses with efficiency and explosiveness. The balanced spacing and tempo of the offense made it almost impossible to defend for 4 quarters. And every great offense needs a star play, something you can go to in any situation. And for us, that is going to be Dagger sit out a gun you off trips weak. This is an incredible zone beating play that attacks the middle of the field and forces users into no-win situations. But it is also fantastic against man coverage, giving you 4 strong man beating routes spread across the formation. Now, to set this up versus zone coverage, come out with your trips to the wide side of the field, then take your tight end and put him on a streak route to clear the vertical space. Then versus man, come out with your trips to the wide side, then take your tight end and put him on a corner route. All right, so first we're going to look at Dagger sit versus zone. Now, our key route, our really go-to route, is going to be this super deep tight end crosser. He's going to come across the field, and if the flat defender stays shallow inside, bites down, basically isn't getting to about 25 to 30 yards down the field, this deep cross is going to get open. The tight end on the solo side is going to run off the deep blue defender, and now we can just drop this in up along the sideline for a huge gain. And that is just going to be consistently very open versus zone coverage. Now, basically, this can be covered in 2 ways. If the flat defender gets super far back, like he is here, we maybe could still drop this over his head, but if he is getting super far back, or if the user, here he jumps down on the running back, but if the user leaves the middle of the field to take that crosser, or if the flat defender is deep like he is here, then we're going to look for the dig coming in behind him. Here, the user bites down, other linebacker shading to the tight end, so the middle of the field with that dig is just coming wide open in behind him, drop it in for a nice gain. Then we basically have 2 checkdowns versus zone, so we can look to the deep crosser, then look to the dig, and then our checkdown checkdowns versus zone, if we don't like our deeper options, we have our whip breaking out, and then we also have our running back who's on a check and release hook. So if they are blitzing, he's going to stay in and block, but if not, he's going to just sit up and hook up in the middle of the field. And everything's kind of covered deeper here. They don't really have players in the flats, so we can just check it down to our whip right here, 2nd and 15, and we pick up the first down. Now against man coverage, the setup is just a tiny bit different with the corner route from our other tight end. So now our two main routes we are going to look at is our this is a check. This is actually, sorry, a check down versus zone. Check it down to the running back. So same kind of thing. If everything's covered deep, we have our whip underneath or our check down to our hook, running back hook, 2nd and 20, and we turn that into a 3rd and 8. Okay, now we look at man, and against man, we have a corner route and our crosser. So those are our first two options versus man coverage. We can look to the tight end as he breaks out or the crosser as it breaks in. So we have both of these tight ends, have guys with decent route running, and both these routes are going to get really nice separation. Here they have no safety in the middle of the field, so that makes me want to throw the crosser in as he crosses this player's man cover, his face in man coverage. Then with the other tight end, if they have a player in the middle of the field or we see a user kind of getting underneath our crosser, then look to the sideline and we have the other tight end as he breaks on that corner route, 2nd and 5, drop it in along the sideline. Then we still have the whip and the dig, both also really good options versus man. So 4 really great man beating options here. Dig as it breaks in the middle of the field, user leaves the middle to take one of the tight ends, opens up the middle, fire that in, and then lastly we have the whip. So have the corner route, crosser gets kind of caught up, dig, and then the whip breaking to the outside. So very, very good man beating setup as well. As Lincoln Riley evolved the air raid, he made the run game a true foundation of the offense. Instead of relying only on light boxes and spacing, he introduced pulling guards, counter concepts, and gap schemes to add physicality and unpredictability. Riley also leaned into tight end and H-back looks and heavier personnel to disguise intentions and create more conflict for linebackers. The result was a balanced and explosive system that could shred teams through the air while running for big chunk gains on the ground. So first up, we have RPO Buck Alert at a gun you off trips weak. This is an RPO with an auto motion route coming out of the backfield, giving you a quick read pre-snap. If you have a numbers advantage on the edge, you can flip it out immediately to your screen pass for huge yards, but you also have the option to hand it off behind multiple pullers, turning into an extremely explosive run play. All right, so with this RPO, it all starts with that auto motion on the outside, and basically what we are looking for is if we have a numbers advantage on the outside, here we actually kind of don't. They have 3 defenders, we only have 2 blockers, but I see everybody backpedaling and I see kind of these guys firing down in the run. So we are going to drop it out to our screen pass. Everybody gets caught inside. We flip it out. We pick up the first down. Here's one where it's more we have the numbers advantage. Everybody jumps inside on the run play. Now we have 1 blocker. They have 1 defender. Our other blocker actually chips inside because everyone else gets sealed inside. And now we just have a one-on-one with our pass catcher here. So we can drop it into him, block gets set right there, and we can just walk into the end zone. Now, if after the snap, we don't like the look of our numbers as much, so here we have another corner out here, which we can't see, corner here, plus the user jumping to this side. So now that makes me say, okay, I'm not going to go try to force in that screen pass. We are just going to hand this ball off. And the great thing with this run, we're going to have 2 lead blockers out in front as well. So we're going to have multiple blockers. We can just get in behind these guys, boom, absolutely decleats one guy there, seals the other guy inside, and we just walk right into the end zone. And then here it is going to be one more time. We look out. I see the user bust way out there. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3 defenders with only 2 blockers. So don't really have the numbers advantage. We're going to hand this ball off, and we have our pullers leading to the outside, but I see an absolutely massive hole right up the middle because the user vacates. So we are just going to put our foot in the ground, get downhill, 2nd and 4, and we pick up the first down. Then we have return RPO read Y flat at a spread Y slot. This is a QB orientated run built off motion and leverage. The auto motion across the formation helps you identify coverage, and you're going to read the outside defender. If they stay stuck inside, you can flip it out to your tight end and get some big yardage on the outside. Then if that is taken away and the read defender crashes, you can get out with your QB on the perimeter where he can make some big plays in the open field. All right, now with this RPO, it's a read option play with this auto motion. I like this auto motion because it's man coverage zone. A lot of the times, like watch this guy follow our tight end across the field here. He's going to follow him across the field. Two guys here. And then when we come back, the one guy stays over here. The other guy gets caught inside. So this motion can really open up the outside here where guys just don't actually react to the motion right. I pull it, but I see one defender with my guy just wide open, drop it out to him, and we can basically just walk into the end zone here. We're down to the one. But here it is again, auto motion. And now everybody gets caught inside and they don't motion back out with our guy. So it's a super kind of glitchy, really tough way to stop us from getting the ball out on the perimeter, drop it into our tight end, and we can just walk into the end zone. Now, the other part of this play is going to be obviously just kind of the normal read option. But once again, we see this guy get caught inside. He does do a better job of reacting to the screen pass to the outside here. Then we have this defensive end crash down on the running back. So now we can keep it with our QB, get out on the perimeter, and now just make plays. This guy's going to turn into a blocker once we get upfield as well. If he makes a tiny bit better of a block, we probably score here, but the corner is just able to hold us up enough for the linebacker to catch us, run us down. Here it is again, read option player caught inside. This tight end player too is really good on read options because now it's going to force this defender to go outside to match him. This guy's going to run up field with this player because technically it's still a pass play right now, so these guys have to honor those two players till we go past the line of scrimmage, and by then we just put our foot in the ground and we get a ton of big gains. Then the last part of this is obviously if the defensive end kind of plays to the outside, our tight end isn't open in the flat, then we can just hand off the running back, get downhill, and we score on 3rd and goal right there. And if you're loving what you're seeing so far for this Oklahoma air raid scheme, we've got 5 more videos with 10 new plays waiting for you right now on Scheme Kings to take it to the next level. We've got a ton of deadly run plays, ways to beat both man and zone coverages, and more vertical shots to push the ball deep down the field. Then coming up in the future for this air raid scheme, we have our USC Lincoln Riley offense on the way as well. And then there's already another air raid intro scheme and our Mike Leach Texas Tech air raid offenses on the site already. Then that's not all. On Scheme Kings, we've got all of our Madden content live with our Big 3 offense. That is an incredible scheme to use. Plus, if you're diving into College Football 26, we've got even more content for you there as well. Then I am going to be running my air raid sale on the site, and this will run until December 1st. Use code AIR26 to get 50% off your first month. During Lincoln Riley's time at Oklahoma, he coached some of the most gifted quarterbacks that college football has ever seen. Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray both won Heisman trophies under Riley, and each brought a rare combination of accuracy, mobility, and elite deep ball talent. They could hit every air raid concept in the book, but they could also extend plays with their legs and launch absolute missiles down the field when Riley schemed up his vertical shots. So here we're going to look at H shallow cross at a spread Y slot. This is a super popular air raid deep shot concept built around this deep post that can get in behind defenses for huge gains while giving you some really great underneath options if the shot isn't there. Now to set this up, come out with our running back to the short side of the field, then take our slot receiver on the wide side and put him on a streak, then take the outside receiver on the wide side and put him on a drag. All right, so this shallow cross concept, this is a very common air raid concept to push the ball vertical. This deep post is kind of our key route. Versus cover 3, cover 2, it can turn into a really big gain down the field. And basically, we just have to watch the linebackers and user in the middle of the field. If they get pulled down by the drag, the dig, or the running back all flowing into the middle of the field, that is going to open up this post deep. So this is going to be cover 3 with a single high safety. And I'm going to pause it right here. So what do we see? We have a drag, a dig, a running back shallow, which is holding the users and linebackers down. Then we have this streak from the slot receiver is pulling back this middle safety. This post clears his backside corner and the corner doesn't run with him. So now all of a sudden this guy is wide open in the middle of the field. Safety gets run off and now we can just drop it right in front of that safety. He can't react in time. If we're able to break that tackle, we can score, but we turn that into a massive gain. Now against cover 2, it's going to work kind of similar where we're reading the middle of the field, and here the user does actually get back, but he's reading the streak. Then our other linebackers in the middle of the field are staying shallow, and now our dig is just going to break underneath them. So if this linebacker runs with the streak, we can throw the dig early. If he stays down, we can actually wait a little bit longer and throw this kind of more in the middle of the field. But here I throw it a little bit early, fire it in right there as a really nice shot against cover 2. Then for the rest of this play, we're really all about working the middle of the field. So we're kind of just paying attention to the players in the middle. If we don't want to try to hit this post, we have running back shallow, drag, and then the deeper dig coming over the top. Here I see the linebackers biting down, so we're just going to throw the dig in over their heads as they bite down as he breaks into the middle of the field. I think I put the dig versus man next as well. Yeah, so the dig can also be a really good option versus man. We basically have two routes, kind of three that are good versus man. We have the dig or the drag. Those are the main two routes I'm looking for. You could alert post if they have someone in the middle of the field and we hold the ball long enough and we see that this guy's in a trail as we break. But usually I'm not going to try to hold the ball that long, and I'm just going to be either looking for the dig or the drag underneath first man coverage. Here we throw the dig versus man, fire it in for the first down. Now we also have our two underneath options here. So this is the drag versus man coverage. So the drag's coming across the field, running back in the flat. Here, drag has separation, so we can drop it down to him, runs away from his defender, get upfield, turn it into a nice gain. Here it is one more time. So we have against zone here. If everything's covered deep with the dig taken away, post taken away, we have our drag coming one way and our running back flat route going the other way. Can go to either one as our check down. Here we go to the running back, put it in a playmaker's hands, pick up the easy first down. Then Lincoln Riley's Oklahoma offenses were loaded with elite pass catchers who fit perfectly into his version of the system. He had stars like CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews, all of whom put up massive production in this system. Lamb with multiple 1,000-yard seasons, Hollywood averaging nearly 20 yards per catch, and Andrews dominating the seams as an All-American tight end. With talent like this, Riley could lean on core concepts he mastered, and these plays consistently put defenders in conflict and created huge plays after the catch. So here we're going to look at Y cross at a spread Y slot. Y cross is one of the premier air raid staples, a concept that can shred both man and zone while putting a ton of pressure on linebackers and users in the middle of the field. It's a perfect blend of vertical stretch and horizontal conflict. To set this up, come out with your running back to the short side of the field, then take your slot receiver on the wide side and put him on a whip, and then I like to re-swing past my running back. All right, so Y cross, one of the simplest air raid concepts, but honestly one of the most effective. If you get good at running Y cross, you could run it 30% of your pass plays and you are going to be in a great spot because it is that effective. Now, how I like to run it is I always like to look at my slot receiver on the wide side first. Against man or zone, if it's man and he gets separation as he breaks out, just throw the easy throw, take it, just keep picking up those easy yards. If it's zone and the flat defender is busting his butt and getting way back, throw the check down underneath and just take those easy yards. So let's take a look here. This is going to be man coverage. We break in, break back out, 3 to 4 yards of separation. Second and 11, we know even if we just catch this and get tackled, we make it 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Or if we break a tackle, we can turn it into more yards. Here we run away from him. Second and 11, we pick up an easy first down, just taking what's there. Here, this is going to be against zone. Watch the flat defender here. He's staying way back right away, and the user was kind of playing in a weird position here. Usually the user would be playing more here, but he does kind of try to get underneath this, but I see he's way too far inside. But we see the flat defender's way back. 2nd and 2, just take the easy yards. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Drop it in right there, make a guy miss, get it into one of your playmakers' hands. Then we just disgusting rack yards right there. But yeah, that is kind of what a lot of the air raid is, and especially with this concept. Get the ball out of your hands and just take what's there. Now, if we look to the whip and we don't like the look of it, our eyes are just going to come inside right away. So basically, if the linebackers all blitz, come downhill, or the flat defender bites down, anything like that, we are just looking to the middle of the field and gonna hit this Y cross route, this crosser, as he breaks into the middle of the field, drop it in right there. So we can kind of throw that early. I didn't really get a great one of me throwing it later, but we can also throw this later if the flat defender bites down. We can also even, like here, we throw it more in behind the flat defender where he would be, but you can even like wait and throw it even a little bit later if it's there. But here we drop it. This guy's trying to drive on the football, but I had a feeling he was actually coming down on the man coverage player, and we're able to fire that in. So you kind of throw that early if all the linebackers vacate, or wait and throw that in behind the flat defender on the wide side of the field. Then the great part of this play is if the whip is taken away and then the user and linebackers really overplay to take this crosser, what we're going to have is we're going to have the back side post sit route. So he's going to run a post, then he's going to sit down in the zone. And this is just great because if the linebackers flow inside on the crosser, the deep blue defender is going to stay back. The flat defender is going to have to respect the running back drag out of the backfield. So unless this flat defender stays inside on this route, he's just going to sit down in the zone, and we can just drop that in post sit route for easy yardage. Do I throw that one more time maybe, or is this my running back swing pass? I can't remember. No, I think this is just the running back swing. So yeah. So right here, we could have went to the tight end, the running back, or the whip underneath. Definitely could have done that. But it was 2nd and 23, so I wanted to get a little bit more yards. So my eyes come to the crosser, but I see the flats getting underneath it and the linebackers there, okay? Then I look to the user. He is leaving the middle of the field to go to the linebacker or the crosser. So that would make sense for my eyes to come back to number 3. But I see the flat defender is getting underneath this route. So what do we go? We go to our number 4 option, which is going to be the running back swing pass. So if the flat defender is getting underneath this post sit, then just throw that running back swing pass in the flat. Now we should have a ton of room right here. 2nd and 23, drop it into him, rack catch it, try to make a guy miss, and you can pick up some nice yardage. So that is how you read out Y cross, one of the best air raid concepts. Then remember, with just what you've got here, you're already going to be able to run an incredible offense, but we do have 10 more plays up right now on Scheme King that will take this Oklahoma attack to a whole new level. And then if you want a full breakdown of this entire air raid offense, where we cover the big picture philosophy, talk about the legends of the scheme, and walk through the personnel you're going to want to use to run this offense, then check out the intro video for the scheme right here.